Ladies and gentlemen, Crashers Clay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. I had to switch over to my phone to get it to work, I guess. So
No worries, man. We can hear you loud and clear. And yeah, we're just doing a little Aster live stream. How crazy this token's 3 days old. This launch, I guess like 2.5 days old, Crash. It's a baby. And it's currently, I know you called it around 35, 40 cents. It's more than
yeah, like
doubled. It's tripled, pretty much tripled since then. What's your first thoughts on Aster? And I guess why was the conviction so strong when you first saw it?
dude, so many things. People don't realize how bullish it is actually, in my opinion. And that's why I kind of wanted to come on and explain a couple things about it that I think a lot of people don't realize. So, one of the first things I think people don't realize is like CZ, Justin Sun, and not even just them too, but like most projects in the top 50, bro, they all have like 80% plus supply in the founder team foundation's hands. But specifically like CZ and BNB coin, I think a lot of there's been like a lot of mm, posts I've seen where they own like 90% plus.
Yep.
Now look at the chart of BNB. It just hit $1,000. It's like
Looks
one of the
pretty good.
most bullish charts. Actually, I stopped charting things against ETH almost. And I feel like it's actually smarter to chart things against BNB because actually BNB has just been a far stronger ETH. But anyways, that for me was instantly one of the most bullish factors. When I saw this, I was like, okay, I already know CZ probably owns 90% at least. Then I saw a post says he's got 92%. So that's already super bullish in my eyes because CZ has no reason really to sell. He's already his net worth is like $80 billion. So a
Now,
lot of people will pull that up and be like, "Oh, that's bearish." And me, that's literally the opposite point. I'm like, "Holy shit, that's so bullish." There's gonna be like way less selling pressure on this.
yeah, and I hear that, and I agree. Now, why do you think it is CZ and maybe it's not somebody else? That has access to the
I'll tell
exchange
you
and
why.
someone working with Aster.
Yeah, well, one thing was months ago he was posting about. I think it was because they stop hunted James Wynn or someone else, or
Yes.
or maybe it was stop hunting some other trade on hype. And so then he made his post about why it would be an interesting time if someone made a Dex with the dark order books and stuff. And so that was already like foreshadowing or hinting the future platform. And he was like, if anyone's building it, DM me. No guarantee I'll respond, but maybe I will. And obviously when you have this much power, this much money, why would you back anyone besides yourself and your own team? Why would you chance working with some bozo who's gonna rug you? You don't. You don't take chances like that once you're that big and that responsible. So it's
True.
undeniable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna back it like that, it's
Hmm.
either you or like your in-house team at Binance. So it's not really. I mean, like it's like a 99.9% chance, in my opinion. Like I said,
You're
you don't take a
100%.
chance on like a first-time dev or some guy who who
No.
who just tells you like you can trust my work. I've done great projects in the past, but you never work with him. So it's just automatically ruled out, in my opinion. So yeah, because I mean, can you imagine if he trusts some shit dev that never worked with him before, and that guy just rugs it, and how bad that looks for BNB and Binance. It's not a risk you can take once you get that big.
No,
So
you're 100% right. Now, you mentioned the dark pools, and I want to play this video. You quote tweeted it first off. I'll read your quote tweet. We're gonna play the video for the audience because I watched this and I was like, oh, so we're comparing Aster to other decentralized exchanges, but Aster is in a league of its own. Let me read your quote tweet first, and then we'll get into the actual video that CZ says, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Maybe like break it down for people who don't understand it, but you said Aster to $100 per coin doesn't even sound so crazy if you had just got done watching this video instead of listening to Hyper Virgins. And it's a video from CZ Binance on for Rock's podcast, Rug Radio. Let's listen to it. And then afterwards, if you can kind of explain why this is so bullish for Aster.
We invest very heavily in decentralized exchanges, the DEX perps. The decentralized DEX perps are a huge market, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
And I think that's just getting started. There's so much more. There's so much more to do. I think the current model where everything's fully transparent may or may not be the best model, because yeah, you can see a big whale putting a $300 million short, but the guy who really want to do 300 million short don't want you to see it, right? So the guys who are putting that there,
Yeah, there's a game. There's for sure a game, right?
It's for his effect. Whereas real large traders like institutions, that's why traditionally dark pools are way bigger than what we call order books. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of room to grow, but I do think that future is decentralized. In the future, DEX is going to be bigger than CEX, and we want to invest heavily in those areas. Yeah, we want to invest in the things that will that will disrupt our business.
Are you already in the process of doing that?
Oh yeah, we invested in multiple DEX perps.
So Crash, how about that right there? He says that decentralized exchanges are going to be bigger than centralized exchanges in the future. What's your takeaway from that video?
Yeah, well, that's why I said in the tweet that if you had just got done finishing that video, you might not even think $100 is crazy, because I think flipping BNB would put it at $100 for the circulating market cap. Now the FDV would be crazy; it would be like 700 billion. But considering that crypto is at like 4 trillion market cap, it goes to 10 trillion plus with time. The industry keeps growing, volume keeps growing over time. More money just keeps coming into the industry. BNB right now is 140 billion market cap. So is it crazy to think that they're, the number one exchange in the world would be a 700 billion fully diluted valuation at some point? It's still a little out there, but at the end of the day, like, we have a lot of companies, like what, 4 or 5 plus companies above 1 trillion market cap now today, I think. Might be more now.
Tesla hit it,
And
Nvidia.
so being the biggest crypto exchanger in the world, there's a case to be made that could possibly be nearing $1 trillion valuation at some point in the future when the industry expands. But obviously, like he said, the DEX would need to get bigger than the centralized exchange, which I think is somewhat possible because a lot of people don't want to use ID and passport to sign up with a platform. So it's possible.
Absolutely. And
But
how do you
we're
feel
far
about,
from that as of now, but yeah.
how do you feel about how do you personally buy? How do you feel about these perpetual? Do you ever like exchanges? Do you ever trade with leverage? Are you more of a spot buyer? Like, what do you personally do? And then why do you think that this is such a growing industry? How did a platform like Hyperliquid go from 0 in November to the number 11th ranked cryptocurrency valued over $20 billion in 9 months?
Yeah, so I think, okay, this is something that Hyperliquid did really good, is they made a community for utility or an exchange token. Like that, this is one of the biggest problems that all these VC backed projects and all these utility coins have, is that they have maybe a great product, maybe a medium product, maybe a shit product, and they have no community. Like that, obviously that's where meme coins have a way easier time, is they can get a community more easily. So the biggest problem with almost all these exchange coins and all these utility coins is they have weak community. What CZ is doing right now, bro, I don't think people realize it. Uh it's actually a masterpiece in the making, where I got to explain it. And I'm going a little bit off of the question you asked because it
No worries,
takes
bro.
time to answer this. But basically, how do you have a really good exchange or utility coin with a really strong community? Because typically, once again, you have one or the other. You don't have both. So Hyperliquid did really good on actually building a strong community with the platform that's going to back it for years and years to come, hopefully. Whereas I think CZ and Binance is doing that even to the next level right now. And I don't think a lot of people realize. Listen to this. So let's assume they started with 92% supply control, like I've seen. Maybe, who knows, maybe 99%. That's what I would hope, honestly. But what I've learned from coins is they cannot go up too fast off of the initial hype. If a coin goes up way too fast off the initial hype, then it becomes extremely hard to go back up, because there's going to be all these unrealized profits and all these people that got teleported to ridiculous gains so fast. So let's say a guy's 1 million just turned into 10 million overnight. It's so hard to combat all that selling pressure. And so right now, what I think people should expect is more of like a gradual incline a gradual increase, because now on the dips, every time people who are like on the fence, they're gonna sell. They're gonna be like, is that the top? Oh, I'm gonna sell. Then the people who really believe in it, they're gonna have a chance to buy more. That is so much better than just teleporting higher. If you teleport higher, all of a sudden you just teleported undeserving people to massive gains who are now gonna sell 10 to 20 times more. Like instead of a $200,000 sell, now it's a $4 million sell on top
Yeah.
of your head. That's kind of what happened with Trump coin, and that's something I learned really well from Tron Bull coin, right? Tron Bull was a meme on Tron that I thought was going to do extremely well, and it popped off to 330 million market cap, and that was actually a big downside that I learned from, is that there was too much hype too fast. It pumps too fast. And now, for example, my closest followers and community, like they're having to FOMO in above 150 million, 200 million, 250 million on the first day of the coin really being known. And that's a big problem, because these core community people, they should have had a great entry at 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 25 million. Now, instead, if any at the slightest bit of profit taking, the core community who had to enter higher is now in a loss. Now they have to lose. Now they're on edge, and instead of being happy, they're thinking
Mhm.
about selling for a loss. So you don't want to teleport so fast that a lot of the core community ends up actually being underwater and on edge. You actually want the core community to be in profit, because those are going to be the people that are happy, excited for the platform, going to back you. And especially, you'll notice, like, whenever you make some people money, they really love you or they really back you up. So like a lot of people will back up CZ for that reason, you know?
Yeah. And
And
honestly, you probably feel that way as well. You've made a lot of people money with a lot of your calls. I know you've made me a lot of money with a lot of your calls, and that's why, I mean, that's not
thanks.
the only reason I like you. I think that you're also a good guy and like a nice guy. But you probably experience that as well. But CZ also feels that, right? I mean, his token just hit $1,000. He did a 10,000x. Can I ask you about this tweet that he posted? And I want to see what you picked up from it. Let's see if we still have it here. Yep, I got it right here, Crash. So CZ Binance posted this after BNB hit $1,000 per token. He said, watching BNB go from 10-cent ICO price 8 years ago to today's $1,000 is something words cannot explain. The last sentence, he says, this is just the beginning to the next 10,000x together. I try the crunch numbers, Crash. Another 10,000x from BNB. My phone wouldn't even do it. Do you think he's talking about BNB here, or do you think he could be talking about another token like Aster being the next 10,000x together?
Yeah, no, at this point it can't be BNB. That would
Can't
like
be. Flip the
flip all
world.
this. Yeah, it would flip everything in the world
Yeah,
at that point. So I think he's probably talking about Aster, and probably from like the first second of the candle to
for
count it
sure.
as, you know, who
That's when
knows
you have
what
to
the
count it, though.
initial price.
I mean, it was two
Yeah,
cents.
I guess.
It was 2 cents. When did you get your entry? It was
Yeah,
2 cents.
35 cents was my very first entry. 34 and a half, 35. And then I just kept buying 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So I got all my major entries filled under 40. So I'm pretty
Nice.
happy
I'm
about
right
that.
around the same. So I'll tell you my story. I don't think I even told you this. So I first saw CZ Binance's tweet, and I was like just so focused on the Fed chair meeting, which was stupid in hindsight. Like, who cares? He's going to cut the rates. We already knew it. And then I was on a call, and I saw Money Lord say CZ Binance never shills a ticker. I'm putting $1 million in, and like I have a flashback because Money Lord, he's made a lot of money. He put like 10 million into Trump when it launched, and like had a total, he had like over 100 million at one time in Trump tokens. So that was kind of like my red light. That was around 23 cents. And then when I saw you start posting it, I was like, fuck it. I went in my room. I was like on Twitter. I saw you posted. I just went right out to my laptop and I aped in. And so right around the same time, like 45 cents. And I mean, where do you think this thing could go? We're so early. We do have examples though, right? Like we can look at what Hyperliquid has done in this space. And then you can also look at who's building it. Binance. CZ Binance. They own everything. They have the number one exchange. They own CoinMarketCap. They own Trust Wallet. They own SafePal. They own PancakeSwap. Now they're building a decentralized exchange. Everything that they do is the best in the world. Sitting here today, it's so early. We're only on day 2.5, Crash. It hasn't even hit $1 yet. Where do you think this thing could potentially go?
Yeah, so the very first like super, super obvious target is it's gonna get to at least half of hype. Like there's not a question if that happens, it's gonna happen. And so Hyperliquid right now is at 18.7 billion circulating market cap. So let's see. Last I checked, it's been a minute. Aster market cap is at 1.4 billion. So to get to half of Hyperliquid market cap, we're about 8x away. And that would put us around $7. So I think the first like maybe they we'll see a pullback at like $4 down to like $3 or $2 before we see probably $7. Or not probably see seven. I think $7 is extremely likely. Why? Once again, guys, I'm just going based off of half of Hyperliquid. You know, you can't sit there and be like, oh, whoa, you said $7 and it hits like $6.30 and be pissed off at me. Like I'm just going based on my logic. Hey, Hyperliquid's at 18 billion. We were going to hit half of that. It makes sense to me. If it makes sense to you, that's probably what you would think the minimum target is. But the thing is, it has an advantage over Hyperliquid, a big one, which is the dark pool. And two, it has the Binance behind it, which whoever's behind Hyperliquid, by the way, I know I make jokes calling like hyper virgins and stuff, but whoever's behind Hyperliquid is a beast. Like I'm super impressed with Hyperliquid and everything they've done in such a short time frame. But whoever's behind it is not Binance. Binance owns Binance. Owns CoinMarketCap and so many other like media outlets. Like they control crypto media to a large extent. And like, I mean, automatically just Binance and CoinMarketCap, that's already like prime crypto real estate. You know what I mean? Like they
Pancake swap is
control that.
huge, right? I mean,
Pancake swap, yeah.
I use the
So
SafePal. That's my hardware wallet. Trust Wallet I've used a lot.
yeah, I
For
use Trust
Meme,
Wallet as
right?
well. It's good.
For Meme, their new meme platform, kind of like a Pump Fund on Binance. Like they do it all, man. They are the entity in crypto, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the biggest in the world. So like I said, despite I tip my hat off to whoever's behind Hyperliquid, Jeff, I believe is his name. Like it's amazing what they've done, but I don't care who's behind whatever platform. It's still not the same as you pick. Who do you want backing you? You want Binance and CZ backing you, or you want whoever's behind Hyperliquid backing you? I'm taking
Yeah.
Binance and CZ every day behind whatever I'm
And they've
doing.
done a good job. Hyperliquid has. I mean, they literally have done it perfectly. But just because you're first doesn't mean that you're always going to end up the best, right? I mean, I think there was electric car companies before Elon Musk came in and made Tesla. Now, who's the best? It's Tesla, right? So I agree with you right there. It's like I'm backing CZ all day. It looks like he's going all in. There's been like 3 or 4 tweets now, Crash, in the past 3 days where CZ has mentioned Aster. Let me see if I can actually pull these up here. So yeah,
I saw all of them.
Yeah. No, I've been like, it's kind of insane. I mean, so CZ Binance, 10.1 million followers here online. And if you notice here too, this used to say X Binance until the day of him making that Aster tweet. Now it says at Binance. I'm like, is he back? But for those that don't know, if you go to Aster's Twitter account, and we'll do it in just a second, it says backed by YZI Labs. Look who's in CZ Binance's profile, YZI Labs. But this was the tweet here. He says, Aster becomes the biggest BSC USDT holder apart from Binance Hot Wallet, according to Arkham. You can see Aster on day 2.5, Crash, holds $131 million in USDT. I mean, it's insane. And that's why that backing by Binance is so big, because no one else in the world, I don't even think Coinbase or anyone else, Michael Saylor, could pull those numbers, 131 million in 2.5 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of USDT. Also, you got to keep in mind that USDT it shows there. Well, a lot of the USDT, like for example, the USDT I put into there, I already swapped it for Aster, right? So actually, those numbers would be a lot higher, I think.
Yeah.
Probably double or triple or maybe even quadruple.
You're
that.
absolutely right. It's not counting in all the
I
Aster.
think probably there's been at least $400 million of buying demand on Aster so far. So I would say that's how much has been converted from USDT into it. Because
Absolutely.
I think in total there's been like probably over 1 billion in volume since launch. So let's say 400 to 600 million is buy pressure.
Now that's crazy. Remind me to come back to the fees, because I want to talk about fees and how they could potentially buy back the token. But first, I want to go through the 48-hour stats, because they are very, very impressive. So first 48-hour stats: 2 million users on the decentralized exchange, $1.3 billion dollar token all-time high, which we're at a $1.5 billion market cap right now. So that is no longer true. Let's see where that is. 520 billion total trading volume. CZ Binance publicly supporting, listed on Binance Alpha and Binance Futures, And it was also listed on MEXC, Gate, HTX, Bitmart, and XT listings. So it has 5 different exchanges as of day 2 crash. What are your thoughts on CZ Binance when they decided to only list this on Aster DEX from the start? You had to go in there, you had to put money into their decentralized exchange, you had to create an account or, connect your wallet. What are your thoughts? Do you think that maybe you think it was perfect how they did it, or do you think maybe they should have gotten exchange listings in the first 24 hours because they are Binance? They could have went live on Binance on day 1.
Yeah, they could have got every single exchange to list it from the very first second of the launch. And that would have been such a stupid move, actually. And I see a lot of coins have done that in the past, actually, that have like a lot of pool. And because now, think about it, now people can say, oh, but there's no Binance listing yet. There's still no OKX. There's still no Robinhood. There's still no Coinbase. So Binance is literally putting people in a position to front run all the big listings. They get to brag about that. Like, hey, we prioritize the community first. We fully put the community first. And they literally are, right? So, now you probably have at least 1 million people in before the centralized exchange listings. So those people feel prioritized and good. Like, this is what I love, bro, that people don't realize. Once again, the biggest problem utility coins and these exchange coins have is no community. This is going to have by far the biggest community of any like exchange or utility coin we've ever seen. And by the way, because hype went first, so many more people now understood this trade. If Binance actually went first, way less people would have understood this or had urgency. But it's because people can compare this to hype and they saw what hype did. Now they're like, okay,
Yeah.
shit, this is like I understand it this time. And so I think Hyperliquid already had a really great community, and now I feel like Binance is just gonna have like double or triple, quadruple that possibly actually,
I like that. And
which is insane.
you explained it earlier too, because we're in on the ground floor. Like CZ really did give us a chance. He could have went live on Binance on everything day 1. And I thought it's interesting too. I mean, you're obviously very intelligent in this space because you understand like how they're probably doing it. Because when you look at the chart, you're like, they don't want it to run too quickly. It kind of did take off, and they even waited. I mean, CZ could have tweeted about it here. They waited till 17 cents, shot up to 47 cents. And since then, it's been like a slow, steady climb. And it's been very, very impressive. But, from 0 to $1.5 billion market cap in 3 days it is pretty much unheard of. Now, I want to come back to the fees. You said that they've done an insane amount of volume, obviously, on this token. Do you think that any portion of those fees is going to go back into buying back Aster or doing anything for the community?
I think it already says somewhere on the site that there will be fees going to buying back, but not even if it didn't even say that. First off, it absolutely will, because basically you already know what the hyper virgins are going to say. They're going to be like, well, Hyperliquid puts 99% of the fees back to the platform. Therefore, it actually cares about the platform. It gives back to the community. So they're kind of in a spot, in my opinion, where Binance has to buy back. And that's the whole model that everyone likes right now. And it's the model that makes the most sense. Because, for example, if you generate $150 million of buyback pressure a year, well, automatically you should be trading at a multiple of the buyback pressure, and it helps it feel a lot safer. And it automatically gives you a massive edge over most coins because most coins don't have that ridiculous buyback pressure on top of it. They're just, hey, someone's selling or someone's buying, but nobody's buying and burning like that, or committing to it like that. So you just see a lot more inflows than a typical, like, let's say, net neutral coin.
Absolutely. And this was an interesting tweet. Is his name Kason Foy?
Kason.
He's the
Yeah,
one
Kason.
that showed you about it. I don't know why I've never connected with him. I just followed him online. But this was a tweet that he put up. And I want to understand your thoughts on this because, I mean, we see it right now. And I've been there before too, right? Like, let's say I got into Hyperliquid early. I own a lot and I see a competitor come out. It's the natural reaction for most people to FUD it, right? And say, oh, this is the Temu knockoff, CZ, blah, blah, blah. Like everything that we saw millions of messages. He actually posted some screenshots here of a Hyperliquid whale who has $300 million in Hyperliquid buying $10 million of Aster every hour that was going on. So obviously we saw, and usually like hate and FUD rises the loudest. We saw a lot of people hating on Aster from the start. Do you think that there was a lot of people who got into Hyperliquid pretty early that are whales in that platform that were actually like, oh, okay, kind of seeing the same conviction that we saw?
I think some of them were biased, probably, of course. It's easy to get attached to what's made you a lot of money,
Yeah.
and defend that thing. It's a pretty natural thing, but also a lot of those people are pretty smart. So I think when you see Aster trading at 1/20th of the market cap of hype, like anyone with any ounce of logic left in their brain buys some. It's pretty obvious trade.
I think so. Yeah, I
So I
agree.
mean
And that's
that's what you
why
see with that whale there, swapping.
this
The
breakdown
guy
right
was
here is
$300 million, swapping 10 million in at a time.
it's crazy. This breakdown right here is you're right, because the upside's so much higher, but it's like BNB 138 billion, hype 20 billion, Aster at 1 billion. It's extremely undervalued. And at the time of streaming this right now, Aster's up to 91 cents. Listed on Binance Futures, listed on Binance Alpha. I think a spot listing on Binance is 1,000% guaranteed. When do you think that could happen? You think it's better? Like if you were the team, is it better to wait a little bit? Is it better to get other exchanges, maybe some smaller ones before going live on Binance? Like, what do you think the perfect strategy to roll out a Binance listing would be?
Yeah, I think I was reading somewhere, but I'm pretty sure their plan is like past October 1st for
I
that
saw
listing
that.
on Binance. I don't know why they think that. I saw
No, I saw
somewhere.
it. It
I
was
don't
from
know if it was, maybe it was the withdrawals of the asset
So
are
I'll tell you what
only
it was, because I was like, dude, I was deep in the trenches these days. So there was someone from the Aster team that said, nope, can only buy it on Aster Dex till October 1st. And then the
okay.
Binance wallet team, they put out a tweet because, and I have it right here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, it's right here. So it was from the Binance wallet account, and they were saying updates on and maybe you could explain this. The Binance Alpha token migrated into the Aster token, but you can see the original plan was to suspend on October 1st, but then they suspended it one day after launch, probably because it went so well. So there was a plan to not have any exchange listings till October 1st, but maybe it just went so good. I mean, it went on Binance Alpha, Binance Futures, and 5 other exchanges earlier this morning.
Yeah, I kind of wish that there was no exchange listings besides uh just the Aster Dex. But I'm thinking that maybe because the volume was so high, let's say, for example, it's showing 600 million. Well, they probably didn't want it to start showing like 300 million the next day, then 150 million the day after, and 100 million the day after. And they probably didn't want people to see or think that volume is going down and therefore it's losing traction and kind of lose the heat of the moment. And that's probably my guess why they decided, okay, fuck it, let's just get some smaller exchanges because it's easier to wash trade on these other centralized exchanges to show and generate that volume to show people. So at least if they can keep the volume more constant, like hey, it was 600 million day one and it's still 600 million in the following days, then people feel like okay, man, it's still at the same level of traction, and they can keep that going until they feel ready to list it October 1st or sometime in October. But maybe they're just gonna say screw it, let's just list it sooner than on Binance. But I think it's a pretty smart strategy to hold off on that for now.
Yeah, I agree. Look at this, from zero to the top 66 ranked cryptocurrency at a 1.5. We saw earlier today, 1.5 billion of the market cap. And you mentioned the volume, 616 million, which is very, very incredible. Let's talk about this. And whenever you have to go, let me know. But I do want to just
No,
pick
I'm
your
pretty
brain.
good right now.
Okay, cool. So let's just break it down, man. First off, there's so many people, and for me as well. And look, I've never traded with leverage. I like to buy crypto at the bottoms. Like in 2022, I bought all my Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, Sol, and now I'm taking profits, right? That's how I like to trade. It's the easiest. But obviously, you can make a lot of money with leverage trading. Let's break it down. Do you recommend it to anyone? Obviously, so many people are doing it with Hyperliquid. But if I'm coming to Aster Dex and I want to leverage trade, I mean, why is this so big? I mean, people can make multiples. Like, can you explain to someone that's watching this why you would want to do something with 10, 20, 30, 40x leverage?
Okay, so let's say you only have $1,000.
Yep.
Can you buy one Bitcoin? No, you can get 0.01 almost. So if someone has $1,000 and they use 100x leverage, now they basically have one Bitcoin on leverage. So if the price goes up $10,000, now they'll make $10,000. Whereas if the price only went up $10,000 before and they only owned 1% of a Bitcoin, they're making like what, $100? So $100 in the case that you only own it, and then $10,000 if you used 100x leverage. So obviously, especially the smaller amount of money you have, I feel like the more people want to use leverage because they want to make their way up faster. But I mean, I feel like the more money you get, the less leverage you should use or need. And like me, for example, dude, I never keep more than 200, 250K in my leverage account. And then from that, I can run it up to 1 million plus. And then what I do, I take out my profit. I keep my 200K-ish in there. Because me, man, I have a bad habit. If I keep my money in my leverage account, I'll get aggressive and I'll freaking blow 1.5 million into 500K, like nothing,
How
you
quickly?
know? Yeah, so that's what I do. Some people are good little Tinkerbells. They'll put 1 million in their account and they'll only risk 10,000. Me, I'm a simple guy. Whatever's in my account, I just use it. That's just me. So that's why me, like, I never like to put more than 200, 250K in my account usually. And that's how I do it. So
Very nice. So, I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, it's almost like reverse. It's like the little guys who are trying to make money shouldn't be doing it. I've just seen too many horror stories. I mean, maybe I can get into it. I have an Aster Dex account now. Maybe I try, but whatever I've been doing has been working for me, just simple, less stress. Obviously, you have the chance to make more money if you really have like a good pulse on the market. And that's why I think that these dark pools are so big. Maybe we can explain that next, because this is something new that Binance and Aster Dex are offering. But maybe you can talk about dark pools and why this actually is going to attract so many different leverage traders to the platform.
I mean, obviously, I heard about you talking about it earlier, but people can kind of avoid feeling targeted, or like people are spying on their orders or spying on their positions so much. So, obviously, privacy, if you can have it, is a nice bonus, and that automatically gives it a huge edge against other platforms. So, that's an obvious bonus.
Yeah.
Also, let's say someone put in a limit order to buy $1 billion at $100,000 Bitcoin price. Well, now everyone's just gonna, bid it right above their limit order, right? They're gonna front run that big ass limit order. So now people can literally just, I don't know how, if someone would really put $1 billion in a single limit order like that,
Could happen.
but big limit orders can be set, and not everyone's just gonna go put a freaking order right above your limit order like that. So that automatically should attract way more volume and usage than a lot of other platforms. That probably automatically alone gives it like a extra 30 to 50% volume than it probably would have without that feature, which is huge because that makes a massive difference in volume. That's the difference between on $1 trillion of volume. Well, now you have $1.5 trillion in volume over time, just because that one feature. So it makes a
Yeah,
big difference.
it's a huge feature. I feel like the space is kind of moving that way. I know you're a big fan of Monero as well, and a lot of people have been talking about Monero. I bought a lot of Monero. Just that privacy aspect, right? And this is obviously, it's different, right? Like on if you trade Ethereum, people can track your trades, track your wallets. Okay, it has some benefits, it doesn't. But I think this actually is important too. And I think the guy I was talking about is James Wynn. He was doing $100 million leverage trades, and even though like right after, let's say he placed a long on the markets would dump for like a couple hours and then they would send. And it's like, I was just like, damn, I feel like there's some massive manipulation here. And it's
It
probably the
didn't. I think
exchanges.
Justin Sun literally made a tweet like, "Who wants to put money together to hunt this guy?" Didn't he? Or was it Justin Sun, or maybe it was someone else? So like, and then they got him, right shortly after.
It's
So
insane. They got him. I mean, a lot of times he lost, I think he had like 50, 60 million. So that was one of the stories that I was like, I'll stay away from this for the time being. But yeah, as of now, Aster up to 87 cents. Almost broke the $1 mark. It's been on an absolute rise since it went live. CZ Binance tweeted about it. So many people are getting into the community. You've probably noticed it as well. I mean, it's people from all different walks of life, all different places, getting in at all different entries that are rallying behind this. And you mentioned that Binance did this the right way by launching this and kind of getting in people first to hold the ground floor. And you're right. When you were talking, I'm like, oh, I feel that way. Like, I feel like I did get somewhat of an early entry before it goes live on exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, etc. And that's what they did. They built a good community. But the amount of people that are talking about it, I put out a tweet saying that I haven't seen a token have this much mind share on X. And I don't know if it was just popping up my algorithm. I don't know about people in the chat if they felt this way as well, but every tweet I saw, Crash, was about Aster. I said, I haven't seen this since Pepe back in 2023. And you probably remember that. I mean, like everybody was tweeting about Pepe. You wake up, it's like Pepe listed on Kraken, Gemini, KuCoin, Altcoin Daily making videos. I feel like I haven't seen, I mean, realistically, this much mindshare and this many people talking about Aster, whether good or bad, since something like Pepe went live back in 2023.
Yeah, and Pepe went to 11 billion. Aster's like 1.4 billion.
Crazy.
Now, love Pepe, amazing, top meme coin, but Pepe's not going to generate, tens of millions in dollars in fees monthly in the future like this probably will. So it's a big difference in just automatic buy pressure that this will have over time. So, which has a higher ceiling long term? Probably Aster, but the platform does need to succeed, like, and be like fully established, locked and loaded, which I mean, look, it's not like it's a random guy trying to do this. It's Binance behind it. They run the biggest exchange in the world. If someone knows how to make a successful exchange, I think it's them. So the chances are pretty damn high that it's going to be a very successful exchange. I can't really understand betting against the richest exchange in the world. It just doesn't make sense to me, which is what some people are doing.
Especially when he comes out and says decentralized exchanges are going to be bigger than centralized exchanges. like told us exactly what he was thinking, and then he goes out and builds it. I agree with you, man. I think it's going to be massive. I mean, we're only on day 2.5. So what's your thoughts on top blasting, right? Because I did it, you did it yesterday, right? We both top blasted yesterday or 2 days ago, maybe it was. I think it was 2 days ago. But the chart, like, I'll pull it up now because when we both bought in, we bought in right around the same time. It was like right here. Like maybe we caught this dip, but it was all-time highs. We top blasted. To anyone that's, like watching it today, 87 cents. It's like, it obviously is not financial advice. It's just you telling what you would do for yourself. Like today, do you top blast here? Do you wait for a better entry for people that are sidelined? Like what's something that Crashes Clay would do with this token?
Yeah. When in doubt, sell half, keep half, or in this case, when you're trying to get in, when in doubt, buy half, keep half on the, ready. That's what I always do. Whenever I'm in doubt, if I'm ever in a position that's too big, that keeps me up at night, if I'm ever in a position that has me nervous, I'm just like, hey, what am I doing? Why am I feeling nervous? Stop, cut half of it, and I keep half, and I can add the other half back on later when I feel more comfortable. Or guess what? If I never have to add the second half back on, that means the trade just went incredibly well and just fucking blasted off, right? And okay, great, fine, I won. Like, never even had to add the second half. That's pretty cool, like, too.
That's super smart. I like that. Sell half, keep half. Right now, Aster's 87. Have you sold half or are you keeping the whole 100%?
I'm keeping 100% for now. Like, I'm up more than double, and I could sell half, keep half, but I don't have, like, I'm sleeping at night super good. Like, I don't feel nothing. Like I said, because for me, like, why can I top blast at 35 to 40 cents? Because at the time, it's only 1/20th the market cap of hype. So in my head, I have a very strong confidence that it's gonna have to at least get to one half of hype. And I think that's pretty much the worst case scenario, because there's a very strong case to be made that this flips hype because it has Binance behind it, it has an $80 billion net worth man behind it. It has the #1 centralized exchange in the world behind it. And their exchange, Binance, prints like what? How much money do they make profit? Like over $1 billion a year, I think, right? So why would I fade those pockets and how deep that money goes? It just doesn't make sense. There's a stronger case to be made that the team and whoever's behind Binance is stronger than who's even behind Hyperliquid. And there's an incredible team behind Hyperliquid. So that's why, like, bro, I'll sleep on it. And here's the thing, I can live with my decision. If this shit dropped to 30 cents tomorrow and I round trip, I'm up like around 1.6, $1.8 million in the last 30 hours on this, right? If I round trip that, I will live with the result. Why? Because my logic is strong in my mind on why this should minimum get to one half of hype. And that's the worst case to me. So I live with my decisions. If I round trip, it's on me. But whenever it gets to half of hype at least, that's on me as well. I'll happily take some gains maybe off the table then. At that point I should be up what? 8 to 9 to 10x. So at that point, it's really easy to take 20% off, 50% off, and still have a massive position running, you know? So that's my logic. Now, there's a lot of people in this space, you know, they love to shit on you when something comes back down, but the whole reason they held is why? Because they thought it was going to go higher too.
Yeah.
So you idiot, you know, you held because you thought it was going to go higher. That's exactly what I'm doing too. Sometimes it's going to pay off, sometimes it's not. At the end of the day, what do you sleep sound with at night, knowing that that's what you believe in? That is what you think is the best decision. I think the best decision right now is not to sell even half, not even to sell a quarter. I'm sleeping good on my position until minimum, I think half of hype, you know,
Wow.
as of
I
now.
like that. And real quick on that revenue, you said maybe it's $1 billion. Binance's revenue for 2024 was reported at $16.8 billion. I'll pull up their exchange in just a second. Here is Hyperliquid, as you mentioned, $18.73 billion market cap, 56 FDV, and doing $310 million in value. So Crash is saying maybe around that 9 billion mark is when he's going to consider taking profits. I think we're at a $1.5 billion today. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm with you. I'm betting on CZ, and I'm betting on Aster. And I think that, you know, they're the number one for everything else. And there's no world there. Like, if we live in a simulation, there's no world that they aren't the number one decentralized exchange by a long shot. That's kind of what I'm betting on. And I have conviction. I would sleep well at night if I didn't sell. So I might listen to you. You're much smarter when it comes to this than me. My buddy Mike Farley says, I might not ever sell. You're much smarter than this when it comes to me. But I think that, you know, I think that we're going to see this thing do incredible numbers. Now, I do also, while you're here, want to transition away from Aster and BNB and talk a little bit about Brett on Base, as well as that Base airdrop. I saw you post about that. Can you give us the update on Brett trading well over a $500 million market cap today, top meme coin in the world, and also that Base airdrop? How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who watched my original videos on Brett, it was actually centered the thesis largely around, hey, Base is going to do an airdrop at some point. But then later down the line, Base said, we're not going to do an airdrop. And so both were really positive actually, because I mean, from the beginning though, it was Base airdrop. Once they said no Base coin, I was just like, well, shit. Since there's no Base coin, Brett is the Base coin basically, because it's the biggest
That was
coin in
even
the
a
entire.
better narrative.
It's not better. I actually think the airdrop is better. Um, but I think the airdrop is a lot better. That's the original vision of Brett, in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion, like factually, like if you go back to my videos, that's the original vision. So, you know, we just made a pivot. Once they said there's not going to be a base coin, it just kind of was like logical. Like, okay, well, then I guess Brett's the biggest coin on this chain. So cool. Brett's the base coin then. But no, dude, the airdrop is crazy because right now in memes, we're lacking a lot of fresh new demand in
Yes.
memes right now. Like most people are down bad in memes and they just want one more pump. So, like in 2021, we went so high with the stimulus checks. That's what a base airdrop is a stimulus check directly on base. And what most people are going to do when they get that stimulus check of 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, with some even larger wallets and whales probably going to get up to $50,000 in an airdrop. Bro, it's insane how much money is going to find its way into Brett. Because at the end of the day, in 2021, during the craze of the bull run, what percentage of transactions do you think on Ethereum were towards buying SHIB? You know, obviously NFTs made up a big percentage of transactions, but I just want to hear,
Massive
what do
amount.
you think? What is the percentage of transactions probably going towards SHIB on ETH in 2021?
It's got to be like, I mean, 10% sounds like a lot, but I mean, it went to what, $42 billion market cap? Everyone was buying it.
Everyone was buying. I mean, a soccer mom, after a day of work. Well, no, a soccer mom is not even working. She's dropping her kids off at the games. But
She's milfing.
a soccer
Milfing.
mom that's buying SHIB, I mean, do you think she's buying like some DeFi protocol on ETH? No, I don't think so. I think she's buying SHIB. Like I heard soccer moms talking about SHIB. Like that's what I remember. That's why I bring
Crazy.
up soccer mom. So when you get to the point of soccer moms are buying it, kids in high school are buying it, shit, even kids in middle school are buying it, like I think it's pretty fair to say that's at least 20% of transactions on chain. Like that's hands down, in my opinion. Like when Trump happened, what is everyone doing? everyone, like at least 40% of transactions on chain are towards Trump, right? And SHIB, I'm not talking about all the time, right? I'm talking about in the peak moments, in these beautiful moments where like it's just all this extra money, right? Trump, 40% of transactions at least are going towards Trump. On SHIB, bro, I would say in the peak of that, at least 40% of transactions on ETH were going towards SHIB. So now you take 40% of the airdrop, we can even lower it down to 20%. But let's say, I mean, on base, they say there's around what, 18 million wallets, 20 million wallets. So let's say about 5% of those wallets get an airdrop between $1,000 and $50,000. Let's say the average airdrop for someone, remember, it could be between $1,000, $5,000. So let's go on the lower end though, because I always want to use low numbers for these speculative projections. Say the average airdrop is 2,500 bucks. Okay. So once again, there's 18 million wallets, about 5% of them get it. So let's say about a million wallets get on average 2,500 bucks. Take 2,500 bucks times a million wallets, and now that's $2.5 billion of fresh new liquidity. Keyword new liquidity, right? Not like, hey, I got to go sell this other coin to buy. No, it's I'm selling this free money that I just got to now I can take that and buy the next thing with that. Because that's what people do when they get airdrops. They're never just satisfied. No one ever got an airdrop and was just like, I mean, like 90% of people, they don't just get the airdrop and be like, okay, thanks for the free money. I'm out of here. I'm out of the casino. I'm done with crypto. No, like everyone takes the airdrop and they throw it to the next thing. So you take 40% of $2.5 billion of fresh liquidity and you have over $1 billion in demand on a bread. Okay, over $1 billion in demand on a 500 million market cap coin. Well, go on a little coin right now that's like $100,000 market cap. Put $1,000 into it, and you'll see the market cap's gonna rise by like at least 10,000 market cap, right?
Crazy.
So let's say every $1,000 you put in, the market cap goes up 10,000. So now it's basically at a 10x multiple of what you put in. So you put $1 billion in, the market cap just went up basically $10 billion. You see, that's how Bread gets past 10 billion with those low projections of the average airdrop being about
Holy
2,500
shit.
bucks. You know,
I
the
didn't think
numbers
about
are
it.
simple, bro. Like
Yeah.
if you actually just use a little bit of logic and think about it, and I'm going with low numbers. I'm going with low estimations. This is gonna be the biggest airdrop ever in crypto, bro. So remember, I freaking planned this out 18 months ago. Anyone can go back, watch my original YouTube videos when I broke this down. So like, bro, I've been ahead on this for a long time. It's just that Base then said we're not doing a base coin, and then they flipped back and said they are doing it. So
Trump won, and I think a lot of people got a little bit more like lenient, I guess. But I mean, dude, this is going to be this is probably going to be the biggest airdrop in history. We see like MetaMask hinting at an airdrop. I think I saw Trust Wallet launch a token, but obviously Base launching a token and airdrop is going to be absolutely massive. It's pretty much Coinbase's token. That's what we're looking at, right? It's Coinbase's native token, essentially.
yeah, take half of Binance coin and you get the valuation probably give or take of the
Wow.
Coinbase coin, right? Binance is 140 billion. Take half of that, you're at a $70 billion market cap for base coin. And then once again, you take 5 to 13% of that and you arrive to the market cap, which would be at 13% around 8 to 9 billion. If you do the airdrop projections, you get to past 10 billion. So that's, 16 to 20x from today's entry right now. And that's not factoring in other positive factors that can come into play, you know. I mean, we have the market's pricing in 2 or 3 more rate cuts in the following months. I saw in Polymarket there's like 86% chance of rate cut next month, like 75% chance of the month after that, and I think 65% chance the month after that. So there's a lot of positive factors. And I just want to say, by the way, so you know how a lot of coins or like companies are announcing they want to do their token now, like MetaMask, and some other one. Binance now just dropped this one, and
Yeah.
there's more. Like they're all of a sudden coming out and saying we're going to do our token. Why do you think of all times they finally decided they're gonna? These guys have been saving their ability to drop a project for years. They could have done it 6 months ago, 12 months ago. Why do you think
Bull
they're
run.
doing it now? I think it's
Massive
because they're
liquidity is going to be in the
confident.
market.
they're confident, bro, in the outlook in the coming months. So they feel
Yep.
like it won't be wasted because you can only ever drop a MetaMask token once.
Yep.
You know, you do it at a shit time, congratulations. Like that's just a waste, you know. I mean, can it be successful still? Yes. It's just like you want to maximize that once in a lifetime thing. Like you're only gonna get to launch MetaMask coin once. You're only gonna get to launch Aster once. Why not try to do it at the best possible time where you're confident in the future months and the the coming outlook? So I think it's a really good sign that Coinbase all of a sudden says they want to do their token. Binance drops their token. MetaMask and other people want to do their token now of all times, and it's at the time where altcoins look like altcoins are so beat up, but to me it's like we're at the end of the tunnel, right? Like we're so close to being out. So that's just like a clue that I pick up on. To me it's not even a clue, it's like a very obvious, hey, like look at this, if you have any brain cells you should get that, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I've been basing my analysis on as well. It's like a lot of this plays into the macro markets as well. You know, you look at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the Russell 2000 at or near all-time highs in 2021. The Russell 2000 was a good indicator of massive amounts of liquidity coming into the market once it broke through its all-time highs. We also saw the altcoin market go as well. What's your outtake? Obviously, things are different this year, right? We have a pro-crypto president. We have so much things going positively for crypto. People say that every year, though, right? They say, this is different. I remember last cycle, we're at $65,000 Bitcoin. Like, this is different. We're going to 100,000, then 200,000. It's a super cycle. What's your outlook on crypto this cycle? Do you think that we're still in this 4-year cycle? I mean, do you think that we have a couple months left? Like, what's your take and how are you kind of positioning yourself?
No, I think the 4-year cycle is a thing of the past right now. When your grandma gets it, it's outdated information. It's too late. So I think that the funniest outcome here is, everyone expects a top in the coming month or two based off the 4-year cycle. So many people are gonna sell early, and the best gains will actually be had after the typical 4-year cycle. So maybe by December or beginning of the next year. So I think that's the most likely thing right now, actually.
I like that. And then how low do you think we could potentially go, right? Like every year we've had an 80% around that retracement. Last cycle we were at $69,000 FTX, Terra Luna, Voyager, Celsius. We went all the way down to $15,000 Bitcoin. Do you think that, I mean, with all the companies and people that are getting into crypto, right? And maybe for the wrong reasons, just to make money. I mean, personally, I think that we might see a pretty big retracement. How big do you think that we go? Let's say we go up to $150,000 Bitcoin, or don't have to use that, but like, do you think that we kind of still stay on that 80% retracement for altcoins, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin?
Well, first off, every cycle, the crash has been a little less severe. The first one's like what, 92, 95%, then it goes down like 87, 83, and the last one's 76%. So automatically based on that, you would think, okay, at least this one, worst case, 70%. But I don't think it's going to get to even 70%. Not for a while. I think there's too many dollars, too little Bitcoin right now.
True.
And also we're
Good point.
closer, we're less people are believing in the dollar than ever before. That's a big difference this cycle than the last. So, everyone just looks at the past, but has no vision for the future. And the fact that they're moving stable coins, not just stable coins, like they're trying to move everything on chain. It shows you the direction we're headed. Once people are on chain, dude, like come on, bro, more people are going to be using Bitcoin. More people are then going to be taxed on every crypto thing they do. They're going to be surveilled more on every little thing they do. And at that point, bro, a lot less people will probably want to use the dollar once they're already on the blockchain. Like everyone wants and needs a dollar so badly when that's the only thing that people take. But once everyone's on chain,
Yeah.
I think like it becomes a lot easier for other things to gain way stronger dominance versus the dollar.
I agree 100%. Are you worried at all about these like massive companies like Michael Saylor and Anthony Pompliano, Jack Mallers, the Trumps? The Trumps hold a massive amount of crypto. Like that's one thing that I'm kind of like, Michael Saylor, he'll probably never, ever, he'll probably go to the grave, never selling his Bitcoin. Pompliano, he's a crypto guy, but like, some of these other people that are getting in that are holding massive amounts of crypto, do you think that they're going to adopt the rule number one, never sell your Bitcoin? Or some of these people, they might be in it to make a lot of money. They might sell. And also, I am a little bit worried about these people that hold massive amounts of Bitcoin and crypto and they're issuing stock. It's like, what if something similar to FTX, Terra Luna, like some cataclysmic events happen during the bear market? And, there is a chance that these things do happen.
Yeah. Here's the thing, bro. I never borrow money in my life besides 200 grand from Kaysen, actually.
Really?
So yeah, I never borrow money ever in my life besides a little from Kaysen one time. So that's the thing, man. Like, it would be so foolish of me to act like borrowing money and all that shit is my expertise, because I fucking borrowed money once in my life. So I don't really know too much, like, how bad. I mean, I know, bro, people get into trouble borrowing money. So yeah, I mean, that's a concern. But also, I mean, I don't know. Here's the way I see it. If there was only 21 million houses in the world, would you try to bet on the prices of those houses going down?
No.
No, right? Because like
There's 8
there's
billion
like
people.
yeah, there's 8 billion people, and everyone needs a house. Well, okay, here's the thing: someone gets liquidated on their Bitcoin. Well, here's the thing: like, there's actually possibly more pound for pound demand for one Bitcoin than for one house. Now that sounds crazy because you would think, well, everyone wants a house, right? There's 8 billion people, uh, and everyone wants a house. So how is it possible that there's more pound for pound demand on one Bitcoin? It's possible, or maybe we're close. I can't see the exact ratio of that right now. Like, there's no chart of that, I don't think. Or at least if there is, I don't know how to look at that. But here's the thing: when Bitcoin, people can buy. There are people out there that can buy 1,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, 20,000 Bitcoin. Whereas not everyone wants to buy 10,000 houses. So automatically, the amount of Bitcoin per one person that someone can buy, I think, is potentially a lot higher rate there.
Yeah.
So I think that there is, if someone gets liquidated in a massive way, okay, you lose however many Bitcoin, but there's just a lot of people in the world who, just like they would want a house, right? Like, let's say you're homeless because there's only 21 million houses, you didn't get a house. There's so many people that, bam, instantly they're just going to buy that house because they need a place to live. Now, in the case of Bitcoin, you don't need to live in a Bitcoin, but you have all these dollars that you want to get rid of, and I
Mhm.
think you will get rid of them for Bitcoin, when there's so many dollars. And once again, every year there's more and more and more and more and more dollars, same amount of Bitcoin pretty much. So I think we're just at a point now, there's just too many dollars and too much pound for pound demand for one Bitcoin. At this point, I don't, maybe I'm naive to think that, but I do think that, once again, there's just too many dollars in the world now, bro.
No, I like the way your brain thinks as well. And it just shows the demand for Bitcoin. How much Bitcoin do you think someone needs to be extremely well off, like financially secure? What's like your number? Like, hey, and you might be different than average people. You've made a lot of money in the crypto space, but like for the average person, like if you make this, if you own these many Bitcoins, you're set for life.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't like the idea of like targeting a certain amount of Bitcoin and thinking I'll be set for life, because I feel weird depending on like something that someone else created, and all of a sudden I have all my faith in this like thing that someone else, like, it just doesn't sit well with me.
They
Like,
become God. Like that becomes your God now, Like that's like God for you.
yeah, I rather have multiple things.
Smart. Smart.
Like, for me, the first thing I tell people, man, is secure your peace as soon as you can. So like, for you, I don't know what the little house is that everyone would feel comfortable in. Some people, they need a $2
That's
million
smart.
dollar place to feel comfortable. But I know me, like, bro, I just need like a $250,000 place. And maybe to some that's a lot. Like, some people in some countries, they're like, shit, I just need $120,000 to have a comfy little spot. For me, it's like 250K I would need, right? So the first thing I would do if I made $400,000, right? I had a good run in the market. Bam, instantly, I take 250K out and I buy that little apartment or place, and I'm living cozy. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to worry about my expenses are not going to be that big. I just got to buy groceries or buy
Smart.
some food. I'm going to survive. Like now I already have way more peace than owning a certain amount of Bitcoin. You know, if you own a certain amount of Bitcoin, that's what you depend on. Well, now you got to sell that Bitcoin to pay your rent, to do these things. And now you see your Bitcoin stack is getting smaller. That doesn't feel good. The first thing I do, I buy my place. I know a lot of people say, hey, borrow money. Never, always get a 30-year fixed mortgage. Don't pay in cash. It's stupid because the cost of borrowing money is cheap enough that you can just take that money and you can invest in the market and get a bigger return. I don't believe in that. I don't care what, people can do what they want. I rather just own my shit and feel comfy at home.
Smart.
Okay. I got some nice lighting around me. I feel cozy. I'm happy. If I lost all my crypto right now, bro, I have some salmon in the fridge. I mean, I can walk down for $3 outside the place and I can get myself a awesome strawberry smoothie. I'm gonna
You're
survive.
chilling. Yeah, you're chilling.
Yeah, I'm chilling. So and you can buy yourself that peace. Once again, depends on which country you're in. It could be 120K, and if you're in, one country. In the US, maybe the average home is like $400,000, right? 450. So it depends. But first thing I do, man, I make good money, I buy my place, feel cozy at home.
So smart.
Then I start building up the safety net beyond that, which is okay, is Bitcoin what gives you comfort? Is that what makes you feel good at night when you go to sleep? Okay, start stacking some Bitcoin. Is there anything else that makes you feel good? And I would start stacking that, and I just progress, like that's what I'm doing. Personally, like I feel more cozy buying Monero than Bitcoin. So, and here's the thing, if Bitcoin just destroyed Monero and Monero became obsolete, nobody give a shit about it, which I think is like a 0% chance or like 1% chance. Dude, it's fine. I rather pursue what I believe in my life. Like I rather back the shit that I think is the real shit, the good shit, than back something else because it's deemed more popular or it's deemed more conventional or safe. I'm not here to play safe, bro. I'm here to lose everything. And if I do, bro, I got my cozy place with nice lighting and strawberry smoothies for $3. I'm okay.
I love
But
it.
that's me. Some people, you rather stack the safe conventional thing and you do you. But me, I rather own my place, own some Monero, and own some other things that I think can do a lot of multiples.
Yep.
So, for example, Aster is like one of those things. I'm sleeping good at night. I feel confident in that. Brett, right? I feel so confident that when there's extra money flowing around, Brett's gonna absolutely send, and it can produce a lot more multiples than for me than Bitcoin. Remember, I own my place, multiple. So I'm happy, bro. I'm good. And anyways, I think that's the best position to put yourself in because once you feel safe, like whatever you fall back on, whatever your safety net is, once you feel safe with that, you can take big risks and it's actually not so bad if you fail. Like oh shit, you're okay with the worst case. But when you're not okay with the worst case and you can't go to sleep and you feel so shit about what if this happens, what if that happens, like it's just not as good. For me.
Absolutely. No, that's genius right there. Because a lot of people fall into that ideology. I'm glad I don't, but it's like only Bitcoin, stack it all, and it's like for you, it's like like get your piece secured. You made money. You made $500,000 in cryptocurrency, this internet money, that like digital money. Like go buy a house, go buy whatever you want. Like take care of yourself, and that is the most important. That's something I experienced last cycle from 2021. At the all-time high, I didn't sell. I kind of believed in the ideology that we're going to go up forever. I didn't really start like taking profits until we went from 4,900 down to 3K. I took out enough to like survive, right? But all my crypto, I wrote it all the way down. So I was just holding the whole time. And like, there is something with that where it's just a feeling of uneasiness, right? As opposed to, hey, even if I sold ETH at 4,000 on the way up and like took some profits, maybe I didn't hit 4,900, but I could have secured it, got a nice spot, like did something well. And that's something I've done a little bit better this cycle, is just taking small profits, not holding the bag too long. And one thing that I think is important too, and I would hate to be a maxi of anything because you would have missed this Aster trade, right? Like it's the most obvious trade of 2025, in my opinion. The Trump trade was one, and this is another one. And if you're just married to one, and we're seeing with people that hate Aster, if you're married to one token and one ideology, you can never win big. I mean, look, you love Brett. You've talked about some other great tokens that are doing well, but you saw Aster, you aped in, and you've been bull posting it on your timeline, pretty much every day. So it's like, I think people can learn that from you, is that, look, people would associate you with Brett, right? Like you've been the face of Brett, probably one of the most vocal leaders, but even you are still
Yeah,
looking at
exactly.
opportunities and
People
not
see
married to
Brett.
anything.
What about before Brett? What about all the plays before that? There's, you know, Brett is the #1 meme on base. That play is gonna print, bro. No
It's going to
matter
be
what.
so
Is
big.
how what is the #1 meme coin on base not? It's just like what? It's never gonna go up. Come on, that's stupid. Like when there's extra money flowing around, people buy memes. People try to make a multiple, and one of the biggest magnets that's gonna attract people isn't leading meme on base. Like it's just obvious. So I sleep at night so peacefully with that. And that's the thing. You don't have to only have one bet. I sleep good at night with that. I'm now sleeping good at night with Aster. If another great play comes around, I'll be happy to take it if it makes complete and total sense to me. I'm at a point now where though, like if something doesn't make complete and total sense, man, I'd rather just sit out. That's why in the last 14 months, I've only made 2 calls. Tronbull, Aster. You know what pissed me off so much about Tronbull is it went up 55x after I called it, and I know that more people lost than they won. So to me, that was like a big wake up call of
Crazy.
like shit. I can't just call shit anymore because if it hits 330 million, like it does 55x. Oh well, it's still considered a loss because it turns out that a lot of the people buying up there
So
is
crazy.
is the people from me. So like the level of success something needs to go to for me to be like, good, it's like too high almost right now that I just have to be so selective. Like, bro, people say it, like, if I'm such a scammer, why didn't I just shill you 1,000 coins for $10,000 per coin? I could have made 10 million, 20 million plus dollars just promoting shit. Instead, I've only called 2 things in the last 14 months because I don't want people to lose because of me. I understand people will always lose in crypto, but the main thing, I want the main like 20% of people that follow me closely that actually care about what I have to say. I just want to make sure those people win, right? Like, if those people win, I'm super happy. But if those people don't win, what am I doing? I have no reason to share anything. It's too much pressure. Like I don't want to lead people to lose, and there's no fun in that. What's the point of leading people to lose? I'd rather just say nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you called a token that went from 5 million to $330 million, and you still get called a scammer, this and that. It's like, it's wild. Do you ever get like tripped out at how big your platform has become and how much pull you have in the crypto space?
I mean, it makes sense because like what 10 of my last 11 calls or like 10 of my last 12 did over 100x. So it almost becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. But because of like those repeated wins, it didn't used to be like that. But here's the thing, right? So like, let's say I go share poop shit coin, right? Uh, and let's say some people just buy it just because of me, but it's not gonna last, right? It's not gonna last. You can't just think, oh, because people think that I'm always right, then therefore I can call anything. That's not how it works. If the shit is not solid without you, you can call it. Maybe short term, it's gonna get some attention. It will die out. So I think since the beginning, the most important thing to me has been, am I correct? Before I ever talk about something, am I correct about it before I ever even said a word about it? If I'm correct, then the following sequence of events can be good ones that allow it to, that can just be complementary to it reaching the point that it should have already without me. So I never want any coin to depend on me. And I felt like Tromble, it kind of became like that, and that really just taught me like, okay, this isn't the same as it was before. When I was smaller, I could just call anything, and it's not like I pushed the price, or it's not like people immediately reacted or anything. And so it made the game a lot harder, and that's why for like 14 months, bro, I haven't been able to call shit because I haven't seen anything that is gonna expand big enough, far beyond my own audience, right? Capture the mind share of outside of just my people, like really burst out of the bubble and go big enough to where all my followers can win. So the game became a lot harder, and because of that, I can't really call shit unless I'm super confident it can make liquid X's for all the people that follow me. And like Aster, dude, it's so liquid.
Great
It's
call.
got so much volume. It's got, you know what I mean? That's something that I can confidently share, because of how much money I know is just look at the volume on that thing. Look at bro, Binance, the richest exchange in the world behind that thing. We got in on day one. Like
Yeah.
that's finally there was something that I felt like, okay, I can actually share that. Me and everyone, we can make good X's and it's gonna be a good win. Everyone's gonna be happy, you know? But it does me no good to call a shit coin at 5 million. It goes to 100 million. Oh wow, it did 20x, but supposedly, well, it's my fault that if it comes down from 100 million, because it only did a 20x. That's the standard now. If it's a less liquid coin, now if Aster goes up 4x, I know everyone's happy because it's super liquid. Everyone can exit, everyone can make profit there, well, like easily, you know. But whenever it's lower cap memes like that, you know, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, I have your first tweet here. Aster about to hit all-time high right now. It's at 92. All-time high is 92.4. This is your first tweet right here. Crash hype. 57 billion FDV Aster. 3.5 billion FDV Binance hype. Bet a house on Aster under 3.5 billion. I think the actual circulating market cap was probably 400, 500 million at the time. And then
Yeah, something like that.
who is this guy? Aster is being overvalued. A lot of people don't even know how to buy. Like that's a tough tweet for this person, Alpha Researcher, because this was at like 30 cents. And here we are today, crashed at all-time highs at 92 cents right now.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like, you can't go based off of the present. The market is
All-time high
built
right there.
upon
Sorry to interrupt you.
the market
92.5.
is built on pricing in the future, you know. So if you just look at the stats today, you're going to get fucked out of the future.
Wow. We're looking at all-time highs live, crash 92.8. Looking good. I mean, it really is a once in a lifetime opportunity, you know. Not once in a lifetime, but there's only a couple times per year that something like this happens. I feel like Trump was one of them. There it is, 93, new all-time high, 93 cents. And this one, I mean, the last time that we've seen CZ Binance post a chart, I mean, it's only been BNB. He's never posted another token. He posted this. And yeah, I mean, it's just been a perfect opportunity on the decentralized exchange. We obviously see other tokens in that same sector, Hyperliquid, doing insane. We understand some people paint this as like a revenge story for CZ. I don't know if I really necessarily believe that, but it's just a huge untapped market, and Binance is the best at everything in crypto. It makes sense that they're going to be the best in this market as well. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you could fade the number one exchange in the world backing what has this extremely high chance to be the number one DEX in the world now. And if it's not number one DEX in the world, what? It's going to end up number two DEX in the world. Okay, now go back and look in, you know, in so many examples, the number two thing is almost always half of the value of the number one thing. Okay, so take half of hype, and that's still 8 to 9x, in pretty much the worst case being number two DEX in the world. Your base or best case is it's going to be bigger than hype. And so that's a 20x plus programmed. It just depends on which one do you get. Do you get, hey, this Binance backdex ends up being bigger than hype, or it ends up being half of hype? Possibly it goes on to be 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 times bigger than hype. It just depends how successful does the platform get. Is that something that you can control? No. Is it something I can control? Not really. I can kind of complement it. I can kind of maybe I've brought a little awareness to it, but I'm like 1% of the pie here, possibly in Aster. You know, I'm a fucking CZ would look at me like a little rat, you know, with how much money I have compared to him. He's like, who the fuck
Oh,
are
yeah.
you, man? So
Billions.
it's just like, yeah, bro. CZ actually, by the way, he paid me $100 to shill it, and I was like, holy crap, $100, bro.
I
I'm
thought
in,
so,
man.
bro. You haven't been bull posting anything in 14 months, and now you're bull. Like I thought he must have paid you $100,
Yeah, $100 was enough to get me to come out, man. That was huge.
but it was 100 in Aster, and it's 3x since then, so it's 300 now. And we're looking at all-time highs. I think we can probably wrap it here, man. I appreciate you coming on. I actually learned a lot. I was just like, I almost was like in the audience listening. I appreciate you as always, and thank you for kind of being that extra conviction. You know, I saw Aster, and you saw my tweet about like seeing something 7 times. I saw it once from CZ, I saw it twice from Money Lord, and then when I saw you bull posting it the first time, I was like, I don't need to see it 7 times. Skip that. I'm
Yeah.
going in. So
Yeah, dude, I said it on a tweet, man. You have a good instinct. A lot of people don't give you enough credit because you were early to Pepe, like under 50 million market cap, from what I remember, possibly even lower than that. You
Yep.
were early to Brett. Uh, First off, before we even talk about Asher, just those 2 calls alone. First off, those can pay for like 50 losses, by the way. Oh,
Yeah.
but people always go in too big on one loss, and then bro, Pepe, when you got it under 50 million, that did over 200x, right? So like, wait, let's do the math. Yeah, 20x times 10. Yeah, it's a 200x. Someone could have literally just put $1,000, they'd have $200,000. Then on the next play, if they didn't put $1,000, but they put $10,000 in, they could have lost like 18 times and still be in profit. So I really don't understand people. I think what most people do is they hit a win and then they rotate like all their money into the next play. And if the next play is ever a loss, oh, they just blow it all and then they want to be pissed at people. But the truth is, like, just these 3 plays alone, like Brett, Pepe, now Aster, those 3 plays alone that you've spotted early outperform 99.9% of people, because I know most people didn't get Pepe early like that. I know most people didn't get Brett early like that. And I know a lot of people faded Aster this low. So look, man, I just want to say to people, like, you can't be it's not about some of the losses. It's about the big wins in the year. Because dude, in a year I only make like 4 to 6 big wins. It's those big wins that make me millions and millions, and they make up for all my shitty little losses of like 50K,
So true.
100K, 20K, 10K. Especially, now I think the more capital you get, the more picky you can get too. But even with less capital, you can still be very picky, and a few doubles a year, few like, I mean, bro, you follow Jake, you make some 10x, 20x, 200x, bro, like, that sets you so far. But you just can't take your win and rotate it all into one big loss. You can't do that.
So much alpha. I appreciate that. And I 100% agree. It's like I've won big and I've also lost big, and it's like, it sucks, but you just got to keep pushing. If you gave up, if I was like, oh, I'm never going to DJ again because I lost so big on Libra, we would have missed Aster. So it's like every day is a new day, man. And every day you have a new opportunity to change your life, and crypto is the opportunity to do that. I appreciate you. I'm excited now. I'm even more excited about the base airdrop. I think that's going to be massive. Excited about Brett and also Aster as well. So I appreciate you coming on, my brother. Thank you
Thanks for
for
having
everything
me.
you do in the space, and we'll be in touch soon.
See you, dude. Bye.
Thank you, bro.